Hi students, Miss Miles here. Thanks for coming to my classroom. Today we're going to learn about an important job. Teachers. Come with me. Yay, you came! Let's find out some information about teachers. The best way to learn is by reading a book. Let's start. The book we're going to read about today is Community Helpers, Teachers. Before we read the book, we need to know about some vocabulary words that some of us may have never heard before. And we can find these vocabulary words in the glossary. Glossaries are in the back of the book, but I'm bringing it to the front right now so that we're ahead of the game and we'll know what the words mean before we start reading. The first word we're going to learn in the glossary today is communicate. Communicate means to share information. Take a minute and think. When do you see teachers communicate? And who do you see teachers communicate with? Did you take time to think about it? When do you see teachers communicate? An effective teacher will communicate all the time. Teachers can communicate in a lot of effective ways. Here's just some. One way is by talking. You can see them talking to your parents or caregivers or fellow coworkers to communicate information to each other. Another one is by handouts. Handouts can be seen as a piece of paper that goes home, giving information to your parents about things that are happening within the classroom or within the school, but handouts more and more these days are now going home to parents via email. One of the most important times for teachers is when teachers meet with parents face-to-face, and that can be a parent-teacher conference or an IEP where they discuss a student. And some students think when there's school events such as open house and back to school night, those are also great times for them to come with their parents and discuss and get information about the school and how they're doing. Who do teachers communicate with? Well, we just went over it. They communicate with you, students. They also communicate with parents, caregivers, and lastly, they communicate with the school about all the information that is happening in the classroom and out. The next vocabulary word we're going to learn in the glossary for this book about teachers is misbehave. Misbehave means to act out or to get into trouble. Another word we're going to learn from the glossary today is educate. Educate is to help someone better understand something. I wonder when and how do teachers educate their students? Let's think about it. When do teachers educate? An effective teacher educates all the time. Now that we know the when, let's look at the how. How do teachers educate their students? There's many ways, but we're just going to go over 5. The first one would be talking, having a discussion. The second would be worksheets. The third could be projects with or without a fellow classmate. Number 4 is reading. And 5 would be watching videos. Our fourth vocabulary word in the glossary is patient. Patient means able to calmly put up with difficult situations. Being a teacher, you need to be patient. And as a student, there are times that you need to be patient too. Think about those times. Our fifth vocab word from the glossary is grade. Grade means to give marks in school that track a student's learning. Let's think. How do teachers track learning? You get a moment to think of the how? How do teachers track a student's learning? They can do that in many ways, but I'll just give you 3. One is participation. The second could be worksheets. And the third could be projects. All of these ways will show a teacher whether or not you are learning. The last vocabulary word we're going to learn before we start our book today from the glossary is students. Students, people who usually study in school. Man, my mind really was working overtime just learning those vocabulary words. All right, students, it's time. Let's read our book now. Our book's title is Community Helpers, Teachers by Christina Leaf. I'm so excited to learn all this information about teachers. Problem solvers. Lily works quietly in class, but one question does not make sense. Lily's teacher explains the question in a new way. Now Lily gets it. Before we read this page, did you students also notice that there are 2 words that stand out that are in bold? Educate and students. Those were 2 of the words we saw earlier that were in the glossary. Now that we have noticed those 2 words, we can continue on reading. What are teachers? Teachers educate people. They help students learn different subjects and skills. Teachers work in schools. They usually teach children and young adults. What do teachers do? Teachers may work with one subject like math or science. Others teach many subjects. Students, did you notice again on this page there is one word that stands out that's in bold? That word is grade. Teachers give students work. They grade it to track students' learning. Students, again, here's another word on the page that is in bold. It's another word that was in our glossary of new words. Misbehave. Students may misbehave in classrooms. Teachers make sure they stay on task. Look, another bold word on the page. Communicate. What makes a good teacher? Students learn in different ways. Teachers must communicate to help everyone. Teacher skills: patient, caring, good communicators, good problem solvers. I see a bold word on the page. It's patient. We learned about patient earlier. Do you remember what patient means? Teachers are also patient. Learning can be hard, but teachers are here to help. Wow, students, we just finished reading that book together. That was fun. All right, students, now that we finished the book, it's important to check for understanding. I'm going to ask some questions. My question is, what do you know about teachers? Take a minute and discuss. Students, did you take some time to think about or discuss what you know about teachers? Great. I'm going to go over 5. Let's just say 5 things that we know about teachers. Number 1, school. Teachers work in school. Number 2, teach. We know that teachers teach. They teach us information on subject matter that we need to know. Number 3, nice. We know that teachers are nice. Number 4, help. Teachers help. Teachers help students learn. Without their help, learning would be very difficult. Number 5, creative. Teachers are creative. They need to know different ways and techniques for all students to learn because not all students learn the same way. Let's go over it again real quick. What do we know about teachers? 1, they work in school. 2, they teach. 3, they're nice. 4, they help. And 5, creative. Great job! Now, I have some questions for us to do. They should be easy since we read the book together. The first question is, where do teachers work? School, mall, or park? That's right, great job. Teachers work at school. Number 2, what do teachers teach? Driving lessons, video games, subjects. That's right, subjects. Teachers teach subjects, all different types. Language arts, math, science, social studies, living skills. I can go on, but teachers teach subjects. Here's your last question, students. Number 3. How do teachers make sure students understand what they have learned? Sports, food, work. Right again. How do teachers make sure students understand what they have learned? By giving students work. Work can be seen as projects, discussions, handouts, many different ways, but they're making you work. They're making students use their brains. Great job, students. Thanks for helping me complete these questions. Here's a quick overview of what we just did, 1 through 3. Take a look. Do we all have the same answers circled? I hope so. Make sure you do. Number 1, where do teachers work? School. Number 2, what do teachers teach? Subjects. Number 3, how do teachers make sure students understand what they have learned? Work. I told you that was going to be easy. We did it, 3 questions, and we did it together. That's what makes it even more fun. Now don't forget to put this paper in your backpack so your parents can see what you did today. Awesome! Thanks for working with me today in the Miles Ahead Sped classroom, students. We learned some important information, and there's so much more we have to learn. So I'm going to go get that information and bring it back to the classroom. So don't forget to stop by, click and subscribe.